I want to talk to you about a technique that's very useful to explore complex situations in a group or by yourself. We call this a rich picture technique, and it comes out of systems thinking and complexity thinking. So here's a couple of details about rich pictures. It's learning about complex or ill-defined problems by drawing detailed or therefore rich representations of them. And this is what they should do, although I'm not a real stickler for rules about rich pictures. I like things to evolve, and I like people to have rich, interesting conversations. I've seen some fascinating things. So identify, as you work, the main concepts or ideas relating to a particular situation. Ideally use icons or images to represent your ideas, and then look at the pictures and the main concepts and start looking for links, stories to tell, and actually deeply exploring. So here's a couple of examples. So I often work with people who are learning about strategy, learning about different ways to actually explore strategy in their businesses. And so we often start with the concept of, to you, what is strategy? So when you look at this particular group, you can actually see that these folks see this as quite a degree of interaction, but it's quite formalized and quite structured is what we do. I think the cake is a lovely example of success and outcomes. You can see that it's iterative, so we've got a scene piece here. Time is important, a recipe and a specific approach. Interesting. And it tells a little bit of a story about the culture of this organization. Completely different picture here, very different kind of organization. You get the concept of snakes and ladders that go on here, so success, a little bit of failure, a little bit of exploration, all sorts of interesting things here. Now to you this probably doesn't really mean anything, but these things really really sponsor and support rich conversations. You don't have to be good at drawing. In fact, most people who start these say, I hate it and I can't draw. And then you have paper, colored pens, set people to it, encourage a conversation, and it just starts, and it's almost always organic. Some people try to draw, particularly engineers, try to draw word pictures. We strongly encourage them to move on beyond that. This was one of I absolutely love this. This was air traffic control, two particular divisions of an air traffic control division. So you think about the kinds of folks who are working in that situation. Very complex problem that we're focused on. Folks were drawing and thinking and talking, and all of a sudden so they're drawing away, and one of the leaders of one of the teams turned to one of the leaders of the other teams and said, I don't trust you. Now that's not the sort of thing that normally comes out of a workshop, but because people were able to play with this, draw, have conversation, it was very large, obviously, on a very large flat table, the two teams opposite each other and working on this. It was really very, very groundbreaking, and that's when I knew that this would be a useful and powerful tool for us to use. Now this is this is a fun one. This is a hypothetical. A group of folks designing the world's best dog park. So they're using this approach to actually not only explore how you might actually go about it and what that might be there, but it's also encouraging them to think differently and go in a very different way about thinking about concepts and how to actually design something that might be very, very useful. So these tools this tool fits very nicely into thinking, particularly if you don't want to be going straight to a solution. This really gets people to think out and think much more broadly in a much bigger picture sense.